Yep, we're having the case of Wicked is late to the party. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video I want to take a close look at the Odroid Go Super. I have this thing laying around for some time in my storage, and I must say I ordered it also like very late because it was very hard to find in the beginning, and after that I managed to find one on AliExpress. But having and messing around with it with some time, I must say that I really enjoyed the piece of hardware, but I never got the chance to make a video about it. So today we're going to talk about the Odroid Go Super. What do I think of it? And there are some things you need to know before you even going to buy this thing. Okay, so first of all, what I understand of this is normally a product they're made in Korea, if I'm saying it correctly. And yeah, but it isn't packaged from China because they sent it from China. It's all freaking confusing, and yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But the reason I still wanted to make a video about it is that simply because this is a quite interesting piece of hardware and it has a lot of potential. My good friend from the Retro Gaming Show Core channel did a review about this product, but also did a lot of modifications because when it comes to the casing, the battery, the joystick, it can be replaced. But I just want to review it as is. Oh, and also take consideration, yeah, it doesn't come with any firmware, you need to put it on it yourself. So when messing around with this device, I noticed that there were some things I really don't like, and there are some things that you just need to know before you're going to get one. So first of all, this thing reminds me of the Nintendo Switch somehow. Like they always keep like ripping it off somehow, but they did of course some things differently. Of course, this is like an Odroid Go, and it works with the rock chip. Yeah, rock chip. Rock chip, yeah, rock chip. Rock chip. Rock chip. Alright, so it's time for the wicked nerdy time, and let's talk about some specifications. So the processor, or known as the CPU, has a Rockchip RK3326. So this chip is very common and be found in many different devices nowadays, in combination with the Mali G31 MP2, 1GB of memory, and of course, most of the storage capacity is through the CF card, and it comes with a very nice TFT LCD. Alright, but let's talk about the handheld itself. The D-pad. So I find the D-pad a very important element simply because I use it all the freaking time. The position itself, it's just spot on. But when you're looking at the way how it feels quite nice, but it's more like a floating D-pad over here. So if this is going to be like perfect for playing, let's say, shmups or a beat 'em up, that is something we need to find out. The analog stick that we can find on the left and the right side, I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah, there are not a lot. Oh man, the grip itself is not that great. A, B, X, Y, the buttons are very tiny, but do get a very nice touch. Two clicky buttons that we can program. Then we're going to get rubbery buttons over here. At the top, we're going to get the shoulder buttons, volume control on and off, Type-C for charging and data transfer, and the USB. For example, if you want to have an attachment or a controller connected with it. So it's quite an interesting option what you can do all with it. Like the mono speaker, I'm not a big fan of it. It's quite loud. The only thing that I think that it was like possible that you can have some better cooling options over here. Because originally, I understand it was not the greatest. But let's turn it on, because the display itself, what they did manage to do with this version, it comes with a very nice, beautiful display. Okay, so I basically dimmed the studio lights because I wanted to show you how beautiful and vibrant the display is that they are using in this handheld. And I think that is one of the many positive things that this handheld has to offer. Okay, but guys, but how about the games itself? So basically what you can do with it, you can play all 16-bit, 8-bit games. But the question remains, this rock chip, it's maybe all kind of fancy and powerful, but it will have its limitations, especially when you're looking at some different things. Especially when you're looking at the N64, PlayStation Portable, the stuff that a lot of handhelds won't run because it's just not powerful enough. And I'm just going to be honest, it's the same story with this one. Spoiler alert. Okay, so first up, let's try a 16-bit game. So when we're reviewing all of these cheap handhelds, they are all having the issue with Super NES in general. But with this, it's not an issue at all. And that's what I like about it. We're having a 6x9 display, and the software like Emmy I like, and there will be like other different versions out there have the option for bezels. But I just choose to get like 2 black bars. I don't really mind it. Personally, I just prefer the black bars over like all the cartoony stuff that you're going to get normally. But the only downside I find already is like, I want to have stereo sound. I'm missing it out a little bit with this game. And that doesn't go really loud. Okay, so I just want to give you a quick demo of an N64 game. It depends what your kind of game you want to play. Like the first generation of games, let's say Diddy Kong Racing, is highly possible that it runs just fine and you can play it. But there are a lot of games that are like running like shit like this. And there will be like a little bit of a problem. You can mess around with RetroArch and the backhand. So what you basically can do is saying, hey, you're going to check out if you can make like a different emulator to run the software. But I'm just more like not a big fan of N64 on these handhelds, simply because it's not powerful enough. Okay, so next up, let's try Sega Dreamcast. One of my favorite systems to play, but it's quite demanding when it comes to handhelds like these. And maybe in the future, if you're going to tweak with the software, you can maybe get some slightly better performance. But you can see like it dips back to 35 and doesn't reach its full speed of the game. Such a big bummer. Because it looks amazing on this handheld. This display, man, oh boy. So it has been a very long time that I must say that I find a handheld that runs PlayStation 1 not perfectly. And I mean, like most of the time you're going to get the really cheap handhelds from China, like think about $25 that have issues. But let's say the Odroid Go, you can see like it drops sometimes with some FPS, but in my opinion it's not a big of a bummer because it still runs the game pretty good to the eye. Of course now you can see the number in the right top corner. Yeah, it looks like, and the D-pad are working. Okay, so with PlayStation Portable, it's the same story when it comes to the overall performance. Now what you're going to get is most time storing stuff, not booting up, and some games are playable. For example, with this title. You can hear like a hiccup here and there. It is not even running on the full 30 FPS that it needs to be getting. This game is still playable. But here you can see like shooting in freaking rocket. It needed to load and it got a dip. You can also tweak with the settings and say, let's do frame skip, stuff like that, to get it actually like a little bit better working with some games. But in overall, like these Chinese emulation systems are just not powerful enough to run PlayStation Portable. Yeah, so this device has a translucent case, so you could basically see the freaking parts. But I just wanted to do a tear down and do a quick overview. So first of all, what I really like about these handhelds, like you can plug out the battery very easily. So if you want to replace it with a bigger one, or you want to replace with the same one because the one is broken, you can just plug it out, replace it. I think they're using kind of double-sided tape, but that's like not a big of an issue. Over here we're going to get the rock chip, the RK3326, and this is a common chip nowadays. They are using it so often now, and that's also like why you're seeing a lot of the same performance. Then we're going to get the memory modules over here. You can basically plug out the flat cable for the display. So yeah, over here we're going to get micro switches for all the, let's say, triggers, and they're like put in very easily, like you can slide it in and that's it. Construction is quite simple in my opinion, but overall it looks nice. Maybe a better cooling element for over here because it's getting really hot. But yeah, let me know in the comments what do you think of the construction. Are you a fan of it, or are you more like give me a metal shell because I like it more? Okay guys, so what do I think of the Odroid Super Go or the Odroid Go Super whatever? The thing is, like, there is always, like, in my opinion, something that they mess up. So let's begin bitching about the speaker. I'm more like, there is room. Why are not having two speakers? It gives us like a better audio experience, because beside the display and audio part is very important. The D-pad plays okay. It's not the best D-pad I've played, but it's better than like the Chinese having 4 separate buttons. The analog sticks, for me, this needs to be like an instant mod thing, because the original ones are like freaking awful, very slippery, don't like it at all. Okay, the A, B, X, Y buttons, a little bit too small. The touch is nice. The display looks nice. If you tinker enough with this device, you have a lot of potential when it comes to retro gaming in like general up to PlayStation 1. Above that, it will be slightly tricky, simply because this device is not powerful enough. Okay guys, let me know in the comments what do you think of this. It's one of the many handhelds with the RK32, did I say it correctly? Yeah, 30,326 chip inside. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell, become one of the Wedoit family, and we'll see you in the next video.